Dice Tower Tonight, episode 114.
We now return you to As the Hourglass Turns.
Welcome to Dice Tower Tonight, a video cast about board games and card games, and especially the people who play them. On tonight's show, the clock is ticking as we discuss games that are played in real time. Plus, I bring back a favorite word game for Crystal in the live chat. We've got some recent play sessions to talk about, and our usual shenanigans with the live audience. I'm Eric Summerer, and joining me now, the Sarah Jane to my K9, it's Crystal Dax.
Oh, that's such a lovely reference. And oh my gosh, I could never be Sarah Jane because she's wonderful. But yes, I'll take it.
Okay, all right.
How are you, Eric?
I'm doing all right. It's sort of a wacky, intense couple of weeks ahead of me, and so it's starting to head into that tunnel vision, like you've got something going on, and so okay, here's the stuff I have to get done before I can do that. And for us, it's the cruise coming up in just a week. A week from Friday, we'll be leaving for that. And so I'm looking forward to it. The whole family should be going. Fingers crossed that everything goes well with traveling. But I'm excited about that. But because of that, I'm in that tunnel vision and trying to get all of the, making lists of all the things I need to do before I can go. That sort of thing. How about you?
So things are good for me. I have fully recovered from COVID, at least as far as I can tell. And I'm grateful, I guess, that I live in a part of the country that's not being hit by crazy snow and ice storms.
Yeah.
And how's the weather up there? Is it bad? I'm sure a lot of our people here in the States that are watching right now are probably dealing with the thick of it.
Oh, yes. I know there's a big storm moving its way across the country right now. We had a big snowstorm over the weekend where we got... we only ended up with about a foot or so. Other areas a little farther east of us got...
Only a foot!
Oh, that's no big deal. A foot is not a big deal. As long as the snowblower can take care of it, we're all right. I think we once had 40 inches back in Hamden, and that was...
Oh my gosh.
That was fun. We actually shoveled the driveway out, and then we could let the dog just run around because they hadn't plowed the street yet. It took a bulldozer to plow the street. Anyway, there's an ice storm, I think, coming through this weekend, and fingers crossed that the weather's going to be good enough to take the kid to a ninja competition in the next state over.
I love your Facebook posts when you post about the ninja competitions. I love watching those videos. It's fun to see your kiddos compete.
It's a blast. I mean, I get that. I never thought I'd be a sports parent, but in this particular instance, he's basically on a travel team and driving around to these ninja gyms and watching him try and conquer the course and compete with ninjas on the TV show. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, that's really cool. So you've got the cruise coming up soon, and then soon after the cruise is Dice Tower West here in Las Vegas.
It is a ridiculously short amount of time between those two things. I think I'm home for a week of work, and then I'm traveling again to Las Vegas for West. But I'm excited about both. I'm really excited to see you in person again, and all of the fun things we've got planned for both the cruise and for Dice Tower West on the horizon.
Absolutely. I'm stoked for Dice Tower West. And in case anybody watching did not get their badges online while badge sales were still going on, there is a Facebook group where there's a badge transfer thread. So there are people who bought badges in advance and can't use them anymore, and you can buy badges directly from those people. So if you go to Facebook and search Dice Tower West Convention in the groups, you should find it, and you can request access to that group. And then they will be selling badges at the door. They'll just be $20 more expensive than they were originally. And when we do badge transfers, we do not allow people to sell them for more than face value. So I'd say the badge transfer thread is where you want to go if you'd like to join us at Dice Tower West.
Very, very cool. So that's exciting, and that's coming up. When are the dates exactly? It's
March,
very early March.
Yes, second through the fifth, third through the fifth, second through the fifth.
Second is the Wednesday.
6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 to 6. I can't. My brain is broken. It's right then.
Exactly.
For all of the information about the con that I apparently have forgotten just now.
Well, let's steer back into some familiar territory and talk about some games we've been playing.
Absolutely. I want to hear what you've been playing, Eric.
Okay, well, I've been playing this one with the kids. This is a recent addition to the collection and one that has been a big hit on our table, and that is CoraQuest.
Ooh.
CoraQuest is from Cora and Dan Hughes, a father-daughter pair. And what's fascinating, I think the story of this game just fascinates me so much that it was while they were doing homeschooling due to COVID lockdowns, one of the projects they decided to do was to design a game and then try and get it published. So they learned about the business of the process and running a Kickstarter campaign and everything. And the result is this game, CoraQuest, which is a family weight dungeon crawl game. It's cooperative. You play with 4 characters every time you play. No matter how many players you use, you just divvy up the 4 characters. They're adorable. All of the illustrations are submitted by kids. So this is Healer Cat. And this is
So cute.
Sword Girl. And these illustrations were submitted by kids and then sort of fleshed out, colorized by the official illustrator for the game. So all of even the bad guys have this sort of, we're just making a game sort of approach. It's almost like the kids got to produce, they did a bunch of drawings and it became a full-fledged board game, which is kind of neat. So the way the quests work is that there's a quest book, and it says to stack the deck there's a starting tile. Hello, it says welcome as you enter the dungeon. There are a bunch of regular standard dungeon tiles with corridors and spots for bad guys to appear and treasure chests and stuff like that. And then there's a different stack of lettered tiles. So the particular scenario will say, all right, take tiles D, E, G, and F, and stack them into these different piles so that they're evenly spaced in your stack of map cards. And now you got your map that you will explore throughout the course of the game. And every time you come to a lettered tile as you explore the dungeon, some sort of story element is going to happen in the storybook. Where was I? Oh, yes. So you work your way through all of these scenarios. Bad guys show up. You have to fight them. Each of your characters, this is Crossbow Dude, has a special ability that you can trigger that goes on a countdown track when you decide to trigger it. And so then every round it ticks back down and eventually it comes back off and you can trigger that special ability again. So that timing is kind of cool. Do we want to use my special power now? Do we want to save it for later? If you miss... So if you totally whiff on an attack, because when you fight somebody, you're going to roll a red die plus your weapon. And if you miss, then you get to flip over your character, and now you are determined, which is a nice, subtle... It sort of fights against the, oh, I didn't get anything. Since you are playing with kids, it's that extra sort of push that says, all right, well, you didn't get anything this time, but next time you're really going to hit them. And so you roll an extra die. The next time you
That's
attack
pretty
something.
cool.
It's a little subtle thing. It's pretty cool.
I mean, I'm not a kid, but I also hate those moments where you just get nothing. So
yes. And so you have to work your way through the scenario. There's usually a win or loss goal. Often working your way to the last story tile and then defeating an enemy or completing some sort of objective. There are those treasure chests which can have items, better weapons in them, potions. There's plot elements, plot items that you may track down. You might run into a trap, which is this is a pile of coins that is not coins. And so here, I did this. This is my drawing. Dan thought it was from my son. Me. And I didn't correct him. I should have, but I submitted it with there's a bunch of illustrations that my son did, and I put some of the ones that I did with it. I just submitted all of it and said, I did a couple of drawings to get my son's creative juices flowing, and I didn't tell him which ones were mine. So later on, he's like, here's the one that your son did. Yes, this is the one my son did.
I
Anyway,
imagine Dan is going to watch this once he hears we've covered CoraQuest. So if you haven't told him yet, that
he
he's gonna find out.
he knows he's referring to it as a
Okay.
scandal, and I think he's going to require an apology at some point. But
I
um,
mean, that sounds like Dan. So
so high points are that this is a wonderful game to introduce kids to dungeon crawl style games. It has a lovely tongue in cheek sense of humor. It's adorable. There are customization options. There's a whole instruction manual for. They have a program where you can upload your own drawings to create your own standees and character cards. It comes with blank item cards that you can make your own. You can take the core of this game and turn it into your own thing and sort of take this forward. It's a lovely game. It is, however, pretty simplistic. It is not the deepest thing in the world. For a group of adult gamers, you will probably get all you can get out of this game pretty quickly. But for a family game, an adult playing with kids, even kids playing on their own, I think it's pretty solid. You do need to be able to read. You couldn't just hand this to a bunch of early readers and expect them. I mean, they probably play their own game with it. But as far as reading the scenarios and knowing how to set up the deck and everything, that requires a little bit of older gamer guidance. But certainly for my two kids, they're easily handling it, and it's a lovely game of CoraQuest. So I'm really happy with it.
that's awesome. I also backed CoraQuest, but I don't have it because when I backed it, I put in my sister's address and it got shipped to Missouri for my nephews. And I
Nice.
don't think they've had the opportunity to play it yet, but I'm hoping that they will soon. They're not super big into board games in general. My sister likes board games okay, but the kiddos haven't really gravitated to board games yet. But I couldn't resist A, supporting Dan and Cora, and B, getting my sister a copy of this game just because the story's so neat behind it. Yeah, and I wanted to support. So
Coralu asks, did your son get any drawings into the game? Yes, one of the spider eggs. There's a quest that involves collecting spider eggs. One of those is his.
thank goodness, because I imagine for him that would have been a real bummer if you were like, "Oh, my drawing got in, but yours didn't."
He actually thinks it's hilarious because the names are on the box and his name is on the box. My name is not on the box.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that you all are having fun with CoraQuest.
So what have you been
I
playing?
Yeah, I actually got to do an in-person game day recently. I've done a couple, and a Kickstarter arrived in the mail that I was desperate to play, and that is whoop, Phantom Inc. From Resonim Games. They were showing this off at PAX Unplugged, and I didn't go over and demo it because I knew it was coming in the mail anyway. It originally was on Kickstarter as Ghost Rider. They thought they had cleared the name legally to be able to use it, and then
Oh,
after the Kickstarter campaign, they found out no, you can't use that name after all, and so they had to change the name. So Phantom Inc. is what it ended up as. Phantom Inc. is a team-based word game where you are spirits and mediums trying to communicate secret words to one another. So, interestingly enough, the score pad in this game is this folding thing with two different score pads on it. It's one for each team, and it gets passed around. Um, but one player on each team is the spirit trying to communicate a secret word to the rest of their teammates. So the spirits each have the same word that they're trying to communicate, kind of like word slam. They're both trying to get their team to guess the exact same thing. The words come on cards like this. So the two spirits get to collaboratively decide which word they want to do, which I kind of like more than word slam, which is intended to be a random word. So this one you get to pick between the two of you what word you want to use. And then the mediums get to ask their spirits questions about the item. They will have a hand of cards that have questions on them, and then they get to give two of these cards to their spirit, and their spirit will write the answer to the question about the item onto the pad. But they write it very slowly, one letter at a time. And as soon as their teammates think they know what word the spirit is trying to write, they stop them. So you end up with a whole bunch of half-written words that your teammates likely know what you were writing because they know the question that was asked, but the other team may not understand the context because they're only seeing part of a word without the question associated with it.
Huh.
So it's limited communication where you're trying to, get good information to your team without giving too much to the other team. And then the other team does the same thing, picks 2 questions, hands it to their spirit, back and forth. And then once a team thinks they have a guess at what the word is, they also write it on the same score pad, and they write it slowly, letter by letter, and the spirit has to knock on the table for every letter that is correct. And if a letter isn't correct, the spirit doesn't do anything. But it does take up a line on the score pad. So theoretically, it makes you get less questions the more guesses you make. And then if nobody solves it by the end of the score sheet, then nobody wins. But usually, somebody's going to figure it out. I will say I love word games, and I love team word games like Word Slam. This one is a big hit for me, and I was worried when I first played it because some of the question cards don't immediately seem to work, or at least they didn't when we played it. The word that we were doing, I think it was alien, and I don't remember what the question was, but it was something like, what celebrity would you associate with this item? And I was the spirit and had to answer that question. And I was like, what, with aliens? And so I think I ended up writing down Tom Cruise because Scientology, which is, I know that's not an alien thing, but it was like the closest thing I could come up with. And so I wrote Tom and then the C, and then my team stopped me. And the other team was like, we had no idea what you were getting at there because they didn't know the question. But eventually Pluto got written partially, and then the other team also got an answer that was Pluto, and they figured out alien pretty quickly after that. It's a really fun one. I like this a lot. If you like word games, if you like team games, I mean, it's a solid one for sure, and I'm super happy to have it in my collection.
That is very cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the chat saying they ordered this one as well and are excited to play it, so that's cool.
Well, I hope they enjoy it as much as I did.
So, speaking of word games, it's time to play something with us and the chat. What do you think?
That sounds like a whole bunch of fun.
Yes. So we're going to go back to one that we've had a blast with in the past, and I've had a lot of fun playing with folks on Board Game Arena. It's a game called HICLUE. It is a lovely word game about trying to get people to guess words using a limited selection of words. Now, the way we're going to play this with the chat is that a few of you, 6 of you in the chat, get to join Crystal and me in this game of HICLUE. I am about to post in the chat a link to Board Game Arena. If you have a Board Game Arena account and would like to join us playing live as a group, you can join in. And if you don't know how to play, you can watch, and maybe we'll have time to do a second round. We will see. The easiest thing to do is to explain it once we get enough people into the game so that we can actually start. But you'll have 4 words on the screen when we begin, and you will secretly be given one of them. And you need to create a clue using the many words that you have in front of you. You have to use at least 2 words, but you can use as many as you want arranged around to create a clue that leads people to that particular word. I should note that if you are going to be one of our players, and I see that we have at least one already, in the game, that you hide your chat so that you can't see what people are doing. If you are not actually playing the game, you can be on my team, and you will help me create the clues for my plays of the game. So as soon as we have enough people, it looks like we have 5 in here now and another 3, and we'll get started. It's a very simple game. You'll catch on very quickly. And it'll be a lovely time. It'll all make a lot more sense. I can let's see. Am I gonna reveal anything too crazy if I actually put this on the screen? I don't think so. So I can show you what I'm looking at right now. The players that are in the game right now.
Look at you, ranked 18th in this game, Eric.
Oh yeah.
On Board Game Arena.
Yeah, I've done relatively well. Not necessarily in live streams, but I have played a few times. Um, it's really fun. Oh, some people are saying they don't want to join because their username is their real name. Okay, I get it. That's good. Um,
Totally fine.
and we could also start with just the six if we want.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it maybe 10 more seconds and then we'll just get going with
10
whoever we've
more
got.
seconds, but no more seconds. After 10, that's
Well, and
it.
by the time they hear me say 10 more seconds, the 10 seconds will have probably elapsed. So it's really kind of pointless to say that, but you know.
That is probably true. People are intimidated by my ELO. This is like the game that I've done the best at of all games. I'm not good at any other games. Six is surely plenty. Let's just make this happen.
Yeah.
Um, oh, somebody else just
Aha,
joined.
Coraloo slipped in.
Haha. How do I just start the game?
um, if there's a button that says open table to other players, go ahead and click that and then very
Oh, and
quickly
then
just
very
click the.
quickly just do
Yep,
something.
yep.
And start game. Here we go.
It always works. So.
All right, so we're going to play HICLUE. And the first thing that we will be doing, for those of you who are not actively playing the game, are we waiting for somebody to
Coraloo just needs
confirm?
to
Oh,
accept.
confirm
Yeah.
that they're doing it. So if you are on my team, you need to help me come up with a clue that is going to lead everybody else to one of the four words that will be on the screen. Here are our four words, and we're on the screen: alien, blind, swell, and decent, not dissent. The one with the red arrow is the one that I have to get them to guess. So if you want to throw out any combinations of words while I'm explaining other things, everybody else who is playing the game will be locking in their answers and will do so a lot faster than me because I'm talking. But I am going to think about. So what you don't want to do is create a clue that is going to lead the guessers to the other words. Alien, blind, swell, and decent. So I am looking for good words that are going to lead to this.
Yeah, so the word with the little red arrow above it.
Yes. I kind of like. I like that word as a start. But you need to put at least two words in. You can't just find a synonym and throw it up there. You have to at least attempt. You have to attempt a combination of some sort. But you can. So I could put this word as a separate line. I can also remove it. So if you have suggestions, type them in the chat. No one is helping me right now. They're just sort of. No, actually, that's an excellent one. Yep, that's an even better first word. I didn't actually see that one. So that's good, and I actually like Nikki's suggestion here of these two words. Let's see if a few people suggesting that one. I think that's a good combination, and I think we're gonna lock that in.
Nice. We just have a couple people left that still need to submit theirs, and then it'll move us to the next part.
Did I do something silly like give everybody not a lot of time? Oh yes, okay. So we are on the clock. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay though. We're okay.
So Hornist's clues are visiting and event. So I now have to choose one of these four words. This one, I'm not sure I can help. I can ask for help from the chat because the delay is not going to be helpful here. Visiting event. I kind of like that for visiting event. And I think I selected it. Oh no, I just accidentally selected the same word twice for two different clues. That's fine.
Oopsies. That's fine.
Yep. I thought I hadn't selected, but I had. Local and lawn. Local and lawn. Yeah, I'll guess decent for that one. Tragedy and flesh on different lines. That could be alien. It could be blind. Ooh, boy.
Gotta love a good flesh tragedy.
Gotta love. Okay. Coralu says awake and outfit. Awake and outfit. Yeah, this is a tough one to do with chat because chat is giving answers for the one that I did like 3 words ago.
Yeah, this part is a little quick. I think chat will be better at helping you construct your clues.
Belong and bat. Oh, no, I like that. So I said helpful adult, thanks to chat. And everybody but 2 guessed
nice.
decent.
That's still really good.
Arc Lightning said belong bat. I thought blind, so like blind as a bat. Ah, yes, and that was correct. So 3 points there. You get 1 point for everybody who guesses correctly. Crystal said bureau and capture. This is the one that I blindly guessed alien. I thought I basically
really?
double clicked, but that was excellent.
Yeah.
Crystal gets all the points on that one. Visiting event was alien, which I legitimately guessed alien on that one. Oh, all the points.
Nice. There you go. That's a perfect.
Coralu said awake and outfit. I said decent. Oh.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I figured like you put on a decent outfit when you're awake.
And tragedy flesh. I said alien, which was wrong.
I said blind, I think.
Blind was...
Yeah.
Okay. And local lawn. I said decent on that one. Yep.
Ooh, I don't remember. Oh, I did say that. Okay, good.
And everybody said decent.
Nice.
Okay. Well, that was round 1. Whew. Okay. So now we have a new set of words. And now the brand new selection for me. This is when folks can submit a clue suggestion to me. I'm going to look at all of these words and figure out. I kind of like, I wish that was a slightly different word. Okay. I don't have anything that works with a particular definition that I would like. Yes, we do have to use at least 2 of these words. So you can't just find... I really like that word in some way.
I'm putting a lot of words, which I don't usually do because it tends to muddy things up too much, but I'm doing it anyway.
Oh, yeah, I didn't notice that one. Mary, that is excellent, and I like it, and I want to use it. Yes. I like that a lot, and I think I'm going to lock it in. I didn't realize we only had 2 minutes to actually make our guesses, so I was just blabbering on, and it started yelling at me that I was taking too long.
It's tough because I think, we want to make sure there are timers so that way someone doesn't end up holding up the game significantly, but it also can be a pain when we want to, have some fun with it.
Yeah. I like that suggestion, Mary, but I think keeping it to 2 words is probably better.
We'll find out when you get my 5 words here in a minute.
Sometimes adding that extra word can be tricky.
Yeah. I mean, I looked at everything very carefully, and I think it'll make it super clear, but who knows?
All right. Hornus says military and effort. I think I'm going to say drill. All right, here's Crystal. Ranch, grew, saved, favor, and friendly. Ranch, grew, saved, favor, friendly. I I like wine for that one. Permit or permit, taxi, round mate. Permit, taxi, round mate. Round mate. Drill. I like drill for that. Return gear. Well, if you borrow someone's gear, you have to return it, right? That's what you do. Return gear. Return gear. I've got 13 seconds left. It's actually giving me a ticking sound and everything. Okay. Mount pole.
You aren't the only one. It looks like a whole bunch of people are out of time.
Moon cloud. Chill, I think. Okay. No, we're not going to skip players out of time. So really, it doesn't mean anything. Other than
it's just annoying for the people that have to listen to the noises, but we'll be fine.
I like crystals. I like wine for crystals. All right, here we go. So I said silent cabin. Almost everybody chose chill. Hornus chose wine. Moon cloud. I said chill, which I think is right.
I did as well. Yep, almost everybody on that one too.
All right, was it wine? Right. It was wine.
So you grow
it on the ranch, and then you save it for a while, and then, hey, have a glass of wine. It's very friendly.
Yeah. Nice. Yep, I got this one.
Military effort drill. I like it.
Very, very well done, Hornist.
Mount.
Oh no, I got this one wrong.
Oh, I said net. Yeah.
I did too. Almost a lot of people said net.
Return gear. Net.
Oh no, I put drill for this one.
I put drill. I think this is when the time was ticking down and I panicked. The time doesn't matter. Permit, taxi.
Yay, this one is wine.
Wine?
Because you get a taxi when you've been drinking wine.
Oh, that's a good idea. Round mate, though. I didn't get that.
All right, everybody, our timers are a little more reset, it looks like, hopefully. Yes. So let's see here. We
have 4 minutes total.
Total, but that's for both giving and guessing.
Is it giving and guessing? I don't know if
I think it is.
Okay.
I
bought a round of wine for everyone. Okay, that makes sense. I like it. Boom, private, hatch, and bright are the 4 words this time. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. It's David's suggestion. Yeah, if I win this, it's all on chat because those are excellent. Those are excellent clues. I'm just gonna submit that. Maybe that means we'll have some of the chat are in the game as well. You're not supposed to be watching if you're in the game. It's fine.
I mean, I figure if people cheat at games, they're just ruining their own fun. So, yeah,
yep.
You know.
Yeah, everyone's chat is agreeing with my clue that I just stole completely. It's
perfect.
It's an excellent suggestion. I'm just driving the bus here.
While we're vamping to fill time, I kind of have started doing something somewhat similar to your pick list that you used to talk about with your local game group.
Yeah.
For my online community game night that I do in the Blitz Discord, where I started a document where people can put down names of games on Board Game Arena that they're willing to teach, and then they can sign up for the other games people have listed in the document that they want to play. And we tried it out for the first time yesterday, and it worked pretty okay. So I'm excited about the future of my community game night streams because it seems like that has made it a little less chaotic, because otherwise we all just hang out in the voice chat and we're all like, what should we play? I don't know. We have 10 people here. Do we always play big group games? No more. We're going to be able to get into the meatier stuff, and I'm excited about it.
I like it.
Yeah. Your pick list thing kind of inspired me a little. I mean, we're not we haven't gotten to the point of so many people that I think we're going to have to order it, but at some point we might have to be like, okay, it's so and so's turn to pick a game.
All
So,
right, here we go. That only gave me a minute 40 for maybe it's everyone only has 4 minutes. It doesn't matter how fast you go. Okay.
yeah.
Episode detail. Episode detail. Oh, I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna say it's a lost reference.
That's what I thought
Plane
too.
guest rescue. Plane guest rescue. Okay. I think I like that from Crystal's Clue. Opera liar tip. Opera liar tip. Oh wow.
That one I was not certain of.
Yeah, I don't know that one. Okay. Base survival outfit. Base survival outfit. I'm going to say it's a military reference. Lamp writer camera crystal. Bright? Intense blast. Nice. Boom. I think.
That is also what I guessed for that one.
We shall see. I actually made it within the time limit this time. No ticking for me.
Yeah, take that, Board Game Arena.
All right, here we go. Boom. Noise and shake. That was an excellent combination, and everybody seems
Everybody
to have
got it.
Yep. Intense blast was also boom.
And I'm gonna guess everybody got this one.
Everybody probably got that one as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Plane guest rescue
harder.
hatch. I got that one.
Okay. Yay! Almost everybody got it.
Almost everybody. Episode detail. It was not a lost reference. It was a boom.
Oh. I thought it was a lost reference too. I literally was like, that's what I thought of specifically. When you said it, I was like,
Lamp,
whoa.
writer, camera crystal, bright. I got that one. All right, and now we've got base survival outfit private. That's what I said, because I thought it was a military reference.
Too. Yeah. It is interesting how a lot of the words in this game kind of have dual meanings, and so you can kind of interpret them in multiple ways. Sometimes that's to my detriment, but sometimes it really helps.
I did not know what opera liar tip was, and it looks like no one else did either. All right.
Yeah.
This is the final round. Okay. One more to go.
Final round. Let's see here.
Photo, miles, farmer, and wing are our 4 words. Sometimes there is nothing good on your board. Okay.
I'm just gonna go with it. I tend to do better at this game. I'm going to jinx myself by saying this, but I tend to do better when I don't think about it too hard and I just pick things and then go with it. Because if I hem and haw too much, I end up just, it gets bad.
Yeah, you know what? That's not a bad idea, David.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to add something.
How about...
Okay.
How about we put those two together? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to run with that. I'm going to run with that and hope it works. Ooh, that could... Maybe I'll throw in that. I'll throw in that one as another word, Kabuki. 2 separate clues. All right, here we go. They're going in.
I did that as well. I started with just a single clue of 2 words, and then I added another 2-word clue. So hopefully I didn't mess everything up by adding the next part.
Yes, that is sometimes It's especially tricky when you have to put at least two, Jeremiah. You can't just put a single word. Um,
Oh man,
so
now I'm debating if it's too similar to one of the others. Should I? Oh,
yep.
you know what? I'm taking out the other two. I'm taking them out.
When you have two words that are similar and you're trying to make sure they don't go for the other one, sometimes you can, second guess yourself and, if I leave this word in, then it
Yeah,
might lead the
yeah.
wrong direction. Yes.
I just overthink everything in this game, but it's super fun. I love it.
This one's a lot of fun, to play in larger groups. It's good to play it as a turn-based thing too, because it gives you more time to come up with your clues.
Mm.
And everyone can sort of submit their clues on their own time, and then if you're playing in turbo mode, if you do play this game, you want to play it in turbo mode so that all the guessing happens in one go. If you don't do turbo mode, everyone guesses one word, it gets revealed. Everyone guesses the next word, it gets revealed. And if you're playing that turn-based, it will take forever.
Yeah. I have there's a game on Board Game Arena that I've recently become kind of obsessed with that I really like. It's from Korea Board Games. It's called Fruit Picking. It's a Mancala based game, and you can play it solo on Board Game Arena, and I've played it solo so many times, but I've also played it multiplayer. I really like it. If anybody likes Mancala style mechanisms, look up Fruit Picking on Board Game Arena. It's super fun.
Yeah, next time we do this, I'll have to turn off the timer or something. All right, Hornist says Miracle and Chase.
I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna go with that one.
Let's
Wallet
see. Okay.
share, says Crystal. Wallet share. Oh no, I like that. I like that clue. If it's what I think it is, I like it, and if it's not, I don't like it.
I hope you picked what I intended,
Pilot
but
pin
we'll find
and
out.
raised gear. Pilot pin, raised gear. Oh, I like it. No, I like that. That's cool. I hope I like it. Holiday bound. Holiday bound. Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm not as certain about my guesses this time around.
Buck killer. Buck killer. What? Stop ticking at me. Okay. Division Jeep Acts. Division Jeep Acts. Division Jeep Acts. Okay. Sure. We'll see. Some of those, if it was cool, if it was what I think it is, then I'm really happy with those clues. And if it's not what I think it is,
You're very unhappy with those clues.
you just messed me up, is what happened.
I hope you got mine. I hope it came through the way I intended.
I have not been looking at the scores at all. I have no idea who's ahead right now.
Let's see. Ooh, I'm winning by 1 point.
All right.
I'm not as certain about my guesses this round though, so
All
we'll
right,
have to
Chief
see.
Mate and Rhythm. Oh no. Yeah, so the wingman. Only one person got that. Oh well. Division Jeep Acts Miles. Yep, I like that.
Division threw me off, but Jeep in general, I was just like Miles, I guess.
Yep.
So
Wallet share photo. Perfect. Excellent clue.
yeah, yay!
That was really
yeah, like
good.
you pull your photos
Yep.
out of your wallet.
Here,
to share
look
with
at the
people,
pictures
so.
of my whole family. Yeah. Miracle and Chase Miles. Yes, I got that. Miracle Mile.
I just want to state for the record that Corlu said in the chat on Board Game Arena that mine was genius, so I'd like to put that down in the record books, please.
Buck Killer. Farmer. Yep, I got that. Excellent. Holiday
Eric,
bound Miles.
I might be hurting your ELO here in a minute.
You are. Yeah, it's I think the biggest thing of getting points is having people guess your clue. So it's
yeah.
Pilot pin. I like pilot pin. That was excellent. And then raised gear for the airplane.
Very
Really good
nice.
clue there.
I
And
won!
Crystal wins the game. Oh,
OMG!
yeah, it looks like my
That's my
ELO
first
dropped a
victory.
little bit.
That's my first victory in HICLUE.
I lost 64 points. Wait a minute.
Ooh,
Nobody told me I was going to lose so many points. Oh my goodness. Anyway, that was a lovely time.
that was a lovely time.
Hopefully everyone enjoyed it. I'm actually going to close my web browser because I think it's slowing down my computer. Okay. Well, thank you, chat. Thank you for those excellent clues. And yes, that was a good time. Losing 68 ELO is punishing. Yeah. Oh well. It's fine. It's
Aw.
fine. I don't care that much. I really don't. I don't care at all. Let's talk about something else, shall we?
Let's do that.
Let's do that.
Let's quickly talk about something else.
So the topic for today is real-time games, which can actually cover a lot of things. Actually, I wrote down three major categories of real-time games. Where's your thinking headed, Crystal?
Well, I will admit, I spiraled a little bit when I was thinking about this to the point where at one point my brain was like, is every game a real-time game? Which is not actually the case, but real-time is, I mean, assuming you're not playing a digital board game turn-based, right? Like every game to some degree, there are facets of real-timeness, but I think generally for me, it involves games with a timed part of the game in which you have to complete things within a certain time frame generally, and that doesn't have to be the entire game, but it often is a vast majority or a large part of those games.
Right. The physical actual time is a resource in the game. And so you can't take forever to take your turn because you are spending that resource as you go. Whereas in most games, if you want to sit there and stare at the pieces for a long time, you're breaking the real-time metagame, but you aren't actually affecting the game at all until you make your move. And I think that's the difference, is that there's some sort of ticking clock that affects the game, and if you just sit there staring at the board, that can be a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for that reason, it's weird. I don't necessarily gravitate toward real-time games, but as I was looking at my collection, I actually have a decent amount of games that have real-time mechanisms in them, and that might be because some of the people in my regular game group that I met with before the pandemic did tend to be a little bit AP prone at times. No judgment. I've been there. I do it too. And this is myself included in that mix. And so I like that real-time games can force you to get out of your head, not overthink things. And it also can theoretically remove the quarterbacking problem that happens in some cooperative games, because if everybody is doing things in real time, it's harder for a single player to kind of take over and dictate all of the actions. And so I think real-time games can solve for some common issues that plague board gamers.
Yeah. You mentioned cooperative games, and that's one that there's a large group of cooperative real-time games, a stack of which I've made over here. So I think the hero of these is Kane Klenko, the designer of Fuse, which is a lovely real-time. You got 10 minutes to do a bunch of dice combinations and solve little puzzles. Kane also did one of the pandemics, the pandemic rapid response, where you're flying around in a plane and you've got like timers and you're trying to allocate resources and move really quickly to do that. You're right. It prevents the alpha gamer issue. It does, however, ratchet up the tension a lot.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, players who are prone to stress and anxiety in games, I have found generally do not like real-time games quite as much.
Escape the Curse of the Temple is sort of the poster child for that. You've got another 10-minute timer that is just, constantly yelling at you through drums and sound effects and, just letting you know that you are never going to get out of here.
But in Escape specifically, I didn't grab that one off my shelf, but I think the real-time mechanism in games like Escape helps add to the theme, because if that timer wasn't present, then the tension of being trapped in a cave wouldn't come through. If you
Right.
were just rolling dice and moving from room to room like a dungeon crawl, it wouldn't feel the same. And I think
No.
it's a really important part of the theme of that game for it to be real time.
The panic is certainly a part of things. Other
Oh yeah.
co-ops have elements of real time punctuated by downtime. So there's often a like Now Boarding and Walkstar, which are both Tim Fowers. Oh, I didn't realize that. Another real-time designer. Walkstar is Tim Fowers' cooking game, and Now Boarding is his travel game, real time. But both of these have rounds of activity, flurries of activity, followed by a moment where you can go, okay, all right, that was the round. Now let's regroup. Let's purchase things. Let's, get new recipes or plan our routes, buy new planes, that sort of thing. And then there's a round of, okay, here we go. Let's do the real-time portion again. And that's kind of nice because it's not all stress all the time. You can sort of prepare for the next round of intensity.
Absolutely. And non-cooperative games use that to effect as well. I have a couple that have parts that are timed and parts that are not, including Pankatsu Factory, which is a Japanese word game where you are constructing words and then passing the tiles, the letters of those words mixed up to another player, and they have to try and reconstruct the words that you built. And then I actually grabbed the expansion box, not the main box because it was smaller, but Steam Park also has a small real-time element as part of a larger game. And I will say, for the record, I adore Steam Park. In fact, I recently played the new 10 penny parks from Thunderworks online on Tabletopia, and all I kept thinking the whole time was, I just want to play Steam Park. Like 10 penny was disappointing to me, but like the real-time mechanism in Steam Park doesn't feel necessary, but I still really enjoy it because it feels different than other games. Like, does it need to be there? Does it thematically make sense? I don't know, but I still really love it, so I kind of don't care.
That's sort of the second category of real time that I came up with is the race aspect, where you have some task that you are performing and you say ready, set, go, and it's not necessarily a timer going on, but everyone's playing simultaneously, and there is some reward for finishing first. So Meeple Circus does this. I pulled off the shelf Flash 8, where you're trying to make combinations of these little electrons in certain patterns, and the first one to do it gets the card. And so everyone's frantically sliding these things around. What was it I said? Oh, Ubongo is a classic of puzzle solving, that you're doing it in real time. In some games, it's just a minor aspect. So like in Steam Park, there's some sort of reward for finishing first.
Yep. And a punishment if you're the last one as well. So
yes. Bullet is another one that everyone's playing at the same time, and it's a pretty minor reward in Bullet, but it's still something that by moving faster you can get some sort of benefit for doing so. In other games, if you are not moving fast enough, you will lose. So
yeah. Synchronized, which I just got in the mail recently from Zarua Games, also does that. It's two teams that are creating a synchronized swimming routine, and both teams look at their line of cards of all of the moves within their routine, and then once they think they have it memorized, that's when they grab the thing to signify that they're first. And what's interesting is the other team gets some help when they don't succeed, but you're looking at your teammates going, do we have this? Do we know this? Are we going to be able to replay these cards in order later? And that moment of I don't know is kind of really fun in this one. I like this game quite a bit.
Next category, a few people mentioning a lot of party games are real time. They have some sort of timed element where you have to draw something or act out something, or you only have a little bit of time to get your team to guess a clue. And so that's often a very game show style real-time aspect. The other one, the last one that I had come up with was an action game. So Clask is one of these where everyone is playing simultaneously. It's not necessarily that you have a timer that's winding down, but you're simply reacting to things in real time. Dexterity games often fall into this category. A lot of kids games fall into this category, and the ones I pulled off.
I mean, but I have to ask, while you're pulling out kids games, Eric, does Clask being a real-time board game mean that air hockey is also a very large real-time board game?
It does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
I'm willing to claim air hockey as a board game.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So Looping Louie is a classic, or you've got the or Looping Chewie if you get the Star Wars version, where you've got this rotating plane and you're smacking it up into the air and it flips around and you have to basically react to whatever Louie does. The other one that I always intended to show off here on the show and I never got a chance to pull it out because something else always sort of came up instead is Bugaloop. This uses those nano bugs, those hex bugs.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got this thing and you turn it on and it just sort of starts careening around the board. And let's see if I can get a picture of the board. So the bug will go into these tubes and go down underneath the board and rattle around down there, and then you can be taking your turns. You roll the dice, you move your people around, you do all this stuff, and then when the bug gets back onto the board, you have to stop and wait for the bug to knock people around, and it pushes the pieces all over the place, and then once it leaves the arena, you can start taking your turns again. And so
that sounds amazing.
You have to, it's pretty silly. There's another one that uses the hex bugs that it's like a maze, and you keep changing what the maze is, and trying to get the bug to go to your side of the board. But this is one of those, you have to just react to the chaos that's happening around you, and you have to make your moves in real time because there's no waiting for the bug.
I might be typing that into a browser right now so I don't forget about it, because if it's available, I might grab a copy of that.
It's a Ravensburger, but it was available here in the States, so it's, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know how available it is.
I'll have to look that one up. You mentioned party games earlier, and I did bring a couple of, like, a lot of party games have timed elements, but I brought a couple of my faves. So Call of the Wild, which is from Rather Fun Games, is, if you've, I think it was North Star. Was it North Star that published Dude? Do you remember that one?
Yes. Yes.
So it's kind of similar to that in that everybody has cards with certain things on them, and you want to try and match with players who have the same thing as you. But in this game, it's interesting because it uses a food chain. And so you can technically bluff what's on your card and your animals, and you can eat other animals instead of mating with them, which is what, if two similar animals show up, that's what happens. That one's really fun and real time. And I just learned about this one last year, or played it last year. I've mentioned it before. I love Stay Cool.
Oh,
and
yes.
the timer in this one, in every round, is a little different. In one round, somebody else is controlling it. In another round, you're controlling it. And in a third round, you're controlling it, but you can't see it. So the timer is a big part of Stay Cool, and it's impossible, but so fun anyway. I love it.
It is deliciously silly and frustrating and hilarious, all at the same time. I buried the last one I was going to talk about. Hang on a second. So there were a couple others. We talked about the real-time co-op games where there's a timer, but I didn't actually talk about the couple that were competitive. Soccer Tactics World is a sports game, obviously soccer, that you basically are doing. It's a standard style game, except it comes with a timer that you basically set off to the side, and when the 30 minutes is up, that's the game. So you're doing, it's rolling and moving and passing and scoring and doing all this stuff, and then all of a sudden the timer goes off. It's like, okay, we're done. The game's over.
That's very clever and thematic.
Yes, it is. It is. The other one is it's a pair of pick up and deliver games. One was a revision of the other. The original was called Space Dealer, and then later on it was rethemed to Time and Space, which Stronghold made. It's pick up and deliver game, but your actions are taken by timers. So you send a ship into the void and you turn the timer, and once the timer runs out, you can move the ship to the next spot. and you're creating new ships and mining goods and trying to fulfill orders and all this, but it's all done in real time, and the whole game lasts 30 minutes. So
Okay.
that's how many actions you're able to figure out. I don't know if it lasted or hit very well because you could never get the timers to be exactly the same. So people always complained about how, your two timers are better than mine, and there were all these documents of how to, well, you test all the timers, and then you take the fastest and the slowest, and you give it to that player, and then the next two go to that player. It was a fun game, though, an interesting experience, and again, some of that panic as you're sitting there going, what do I do? I'm wasting time. I have to do this.
I mean, I think it's funny because as a person who suffers from like diagnosed anxiety, you would think I wouldn't enjoy real-time games, and there are real-time games that I don't like, but I also like playing lots of different board games, and so I appreciate games like that soccer one you mentioned where you kind of have a really clear knowledge of how long a game is going to take. We all know the problem with, board game publishers putting times on the box that aren't always completely accurate with board games. But with real-time games, they tend to be, obviously not always, but generally pretty spot on, because when you have timed aspects of a game, it's much easier to predict how long it's going to take. And I like going into a game knowing this is going to take 30 minutes. That's a lovely feeling,
Yes. Yes, it is. A few other games that people mentioned: Magic Maze, which was on my short list as well.
Nope. It's a wonderful game, but nope, I don't do that one anymore.
Many people in the chat agree with you, Crystal. That's not for them, apparently.
That one is infinitely frustrating for me because all I do the whole time is just pound the do something pawn on the table in front of the person who needs to do something right now.
Escape room games are all generally real-time games. You've got a limited amount of time to solve the puzzle, and you're trying to complete it within an hour.
I saw them on the list on Board Game Geek, and my brain doesn't think of escape room games as real-time games, even though they technically are.
Yeah, they've got the timer, I guess, is really what it is. The VCR board games. So the Star Trek VCR game.
Atmosphere, the Star Trek Klingon Challenge. Yeah, I've got a few of those up on the shelf.
Those are done in a certain amount of time. And then mentioning of other party games, Time's Up is a real-time game.
How did I not grab Omega Virus for this episode, Eric? I didn't get Omega Virus off the shelf. It's definitively real time, and it's cool because the difficulty settings for that game, since it is electronic, the difficulty settings change the amount of time that you have to find the virus and defeat it. So on hard mode it's like 15 minutes, and on easy mode I think it's like 20 or 25 minutes or whatever. And so it really, like, it's nice that the difficulty scales because of the time allowed.
I think those are the ones that I saw go by. Any others that made your list that you didn't get to talk about, Crystal?
I wrote down a few others just in general, but I don't know, I've lost that tab somewhere. But yeah, there's a lot of real-time games, and I think there are people who, say I don't like real-time games, but really I believe that there are real-time games that can appeal to more gamers than probably think. It's especially as designers get more creative in how they implement real-time elements into games, or if it isn't the entire game. So I like real-time games quite a bit, and I think they're really fun, and they do add to the theme of certain games like Escape in a really neat way.
Yeah. A few folks mentioning other dexterity-style games like Crossfire or Kabuki Kid mentions something called Run Yourself Ragged. I did not know this as that title, but you had a metal marble that went through a plastic obstacle course. So you've got all these little controls, and you're turning levers and moving them up and down bridges, and there's a magnetic lever that grabs the marble and turns it around. And my kid has it upstairs in his room. They're still making those things. I don't think they're using that same title, but those exist still.
It looks like Screwball Scramble is the current name, because I Googled Run Yourself Ragged, and that is what popped up. You can get it at Kohl's for $23, apparently.
There you go. See? It exists. I know my
Yeah,
my
you gotta
kid.
love the internet, man. Just Google something and poof.
He spent a Christmas gift certificate on that thing at some point, and I'm sure he's played it every day since.
I'm sure.
Mechs versus
Well,
Minions using a timer for the card drafting segment, which is another good one because it's that panic. If you could
oh
sit there
yeah.
and overthink it, it would be, I think, too easy. But that, oh, I really need a red card. Please give me that red card. I need that one. No, I need the red card. And then the arguments, and it's less cooperative.
Yeah. Well, and then Eric, somebody mentioned on Twitter today after you tweeted about today's episode, Millennium Blades, which has a real-time element as well. I've only played Millennium Blades once, and it was many, many years ago, like right after it came out. But yeah, the real-time nature of the card drafting phase in that, I don't know why I put quotes around it, air quotes, but I mean it's card drafting, but
Yes, I haven't played
um,
Millennium Blades, and it's one that I really
I
need to
am
try.
I am bad at CCGs and I'm bad at Millennium Blades. Like I have to go into games like that, or if I like ever play Magic the Gathering, just like expecting to lose, and if I happen to win, I can just be happy for it because it's not going to happen for me very often. I'm not good at constructing decks, I should say.
So that's quite a lot of real-time games to get through. And speaking of time, we are already past our usual time, but we can hang out for a few more minutes to answer any questions that you have in the chat. If you want to throw those up there, anything you'd like to ask about Dice Tower West coming up in a few weeks, or the Dice Tower Cruise, or what we've been watching on TV. I did see
I mean,
one
the answer to that question is Star Trek for
Star
me
Trek. Yes,
always.
I
Right
was
now, there's 6 shows now. Well, technically, only the sixth one is getting pitched to Paramount, but it's officially getting pitched. So
I
I'm
did
so
see one
excited.
question asking if I had played Outer Rim, which is the Star Wars pick up and deliver game. I've played it once. I really liked it. It's a really solid game and probably a better game than Firefly. Um, Although I still really love Firefly, and I don't own Outer
So
Rim.
here's a question for you, Eric.
Yeah.
Are there any games in particular that you are really hoping to play on the cruise?
Ooh, well, Millennium Blades is on the list. See, here's the problem: is that I think of these things as, ooh, I really want to play this, and then I forget about it. And then I stand in front of the library when I actually am there and go, huh, I knew there was something I wanted to play. What what was it?
And
Um,
then somebody else comes up and goes, "Hey, do you want to play this other thing?" And you go, "Sure, I'll go
yeah,
play
sure.
that." And
Yeah. I mean, I'd like another shot at Arc Nova. I got a chance to play that once recently. Did not do very well, but I would like to give that another go. That's sort of the hotness that people can't get yet, because the Capstone Games version hasn't arrived yet. Um, I'd probably like to play that one. I don't know. I think I'll be exploring the library with everybody else. I'm not really going to make a giant list. A lot of my cruise focus is going to be on what is my family going to be doing. This is going to be a very different experience this year since it's always been just me and my wife going on the trip. Now having the 14 and the 10-year-old with us, how much are they going to want to play? How much are they going to want to do other things? Do we need to go with them when they want to do those other things? Are they going to be comfortable exploring the ship on their own? Stuff like that, and that's going to be um, quite a different experience for the cruise this year. So I will play what I can play when I get a chance to play it. I will be bringing Merchant of Venus with me because that's always something I need to do when I go to a major event. Bring it along and get it played at least once and try and convert a few more people because that's important.
one of these days, Eric, I'm going to play it with you. And I'm going to keep saying it probably for years because it's difficult to get a long game like that in for the two of us with our busy schedules. But someday it'll happen.
It is true. Liz asks, are the kids excited about the cruise? I think they are. We mentioned the ninja stuff at the top of the show. They announced the regional competition for my son's age division. It is the day the ship leaves port. So he qualified all this year to go to this regional competition and now can't because they announced it during the cruise. So he's excited, but also kind of a little bummed that he's going to miss the end of his ninja season by missing regionals. But that's okay.
Um, let's see, there was a question in the chat, I think from CoraLuE, yes, which is very prescient to ask, is our show back in 2 weeks, or is the cruise going to interfere with our schedule?
Well, that's an excellent question. We just decided what we were going to do right before the show started. We're going to delay 1 week, so we'll be back in 3 weeks, and then we'll do 2 in a row. So the next episode, I'd have to flip my calendar to no, I don't. It would be the 23rd. Will be our next episode of this fine program, and then we'll do another one 1 week later on March 2nd. Oh no,
so
we won't.
The first day of Dice
That's the first day of Dice Tower.
Quest.
So we absolutely, maybe we'll do 2 weeks later. Yes.
Well, we'll see how this shakes out, but I mean, we have done an episode from Dice Tower West before, so it's not completely impossible for that to potentially happen. But we'll say we're definitely doing an episode on the 23rd, and then beyond that, y'all just have to tune in on the 23rd to figure out what our plan is.
Yeah, but we've had to wrestle with hotel internet before trying to do Dice Tower tonight.
I really enjoyed our little laptop up on a weird table in the middle of the convention hall where like Z and Roy were, coming in the background. Like those little different episodes are quite fun sometimes, but yeah, internet can be an issue. So
it can be. We'll see what we're up for with the live stream from Vegas, but for sure we'll be back in 3 weeks with a recap of the cruise. It will be right after the final episode of the podcast airs, so that'll be fun to talk about as well. Yeah, lots of stuff on the horizon coming up.
Absolutely. Well, to those of you who are in the chat with us this evening, we really appreciate you all joining us. Y'all are delightful every 2 weeks. We love having you all here, participating in the games, participating in the chatter, talking with each other. I hope you all have enjoyed tonight's episode. If that is the case and you want to click that little thumbs up button below the video, I can see a bunch of you already did, but we really appreciate it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, monsters, all of that stuff.
Algorithm monsters?
Yeah, I don't know. It's an unknown entity of the algorithm. I feel like monster is an apropos term for the algorithm.
Algorithm monster? I think it is.
Yep, those coins are an algorithm monster. But we will join you again in 3 weeks, not 2. So you'll have to come find us other places until then, like the Dice Tower podcast, for instance, which is starting to wrap up. It's getting closer and closer.
Yes. We're about to record our final quartet episode with Tom, Eric, Susie, Suzanne, and Mandy. Susie? Who's Susie? This is how late it is. This is the sort of thing I'd edit out.
So that's our cue to wrap things up, friends. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again on February 23rd at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, I'm Crystal Dax.
I'm Eric Summerer.
And you've been watching Dice Tower Tonight.
Thank you for watching. Promotional consideration has been provided by game publishers in the form of review copies of games. Crystal and I will see you in 3 weeks for new adventures. Our show is supported by viewers like you. Thanks. Dice Tower Tonight is produced by Crystal and me with assistance from Tom Vassell, Mike DeLisio, Roy Cannaday, Chris Yee, and Rob Searing. The consequence of dripping honey behind you in order to find your way back home again is provided by Betrayal Legacy. Timothy Pinkham composed our theme, and hosting is provided by GameNerds.com. Give us your feedback on the Dice Tower Guild at Board Game Geek on Facebook or Twitter, or by emailing us at crystal@dicetower.com or eric@dicetower.com. You can hear more from Crystal on the Board Game Blitz podcast, and I can be found for a little bit longer giving Tom a hard time on the Dice Tower. Find those shows and more at dicetowernetwork.com. Until next time, from all of us at the Dice Tower, have fun
gaming!
Good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone!